All right. Hello, guys. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to this live stream. Finally, I have great internet connection because I'm back home in San Francisco. And yeah, great. So today I am not alone. I am with my friend who's also a blogger, who's also an English teacher, who's also an amazing English language speaker. He's actually a Russian speaker, but his English is amazing. He's really great. And we're going to talk about English language tenses. And the problem with tenses is that there's so many. Like when I was back at school, they taught us 4 conditionals, and it took us half a year to learn all of that. And then when I came to the States, I realized nobody actually uses them. So today we're going to talk about tenses that you need to speak correctly, that you need to use, and not really overwhelm yourself with the knowledge. So we're going to start standard. Like, tell me where you're watching from. Germany, Bangladesh. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I'm waiting for your answers. If you have like a huge question, then it's better to follow the link below this webinar and ask it using your social networks, because as you can see, the chat on the right is like going down like crazy. Short answers, short questions are good for the chat on YouTube. Norway, Turkey, Brazil, Sri Lanka, Colorado, Ukraine, India, Tunisia, Iraq, Pakistan, Turkey, India, Sri Lanka. Okay, great nationality mix as always. US. Oh, somebody's in US. Needs to know about English tests. Perfect. Great. Okay, Belarus. United States again. Sweden. To Mexico. Amazing geography as always. Thank you so much for joining today, guys. So now I'm going to actually let Venya say a couple of things. Venya, you're on the screen right now.
Awesome. Hey guys, how are you doing today? I see a lot of different people from a lot of different places. That's really awesome. Just every time I have to deal with different cultures and different people from different countries, it just blows my mind. It's so crazy.
Yeah, you actually language school right now, right?
Yeah, I work at a language school, and we have people from all over the world. Korea, Japan, Brazil, Russia, Ukraine, all like everywhere, to name a few. And it's just so crazy. It just really makes you think, or makes you realize how small the world is. It's just so insane. I will never get over that. But yeah.
He's actually teaching. He teaches at a language school in Los Angeles. Sorry, we'll be interrupting and inserting comments.
No problem.
At a language school in Los Angeles. It's Columbia West College, actually listed on our website as well. And I'm actually going to visit it. And I think I wanted to fly tomorrow, but I'm like, I just arrived in San Francisco, maybe like in a week.
Yeah, just let me know when. The couch is open.
I will. Thank you. Thanks. Okay,
yeah, I do work at an English school here in LA. I have some experience working at a school similar to that back in Russia, and I have experience being a student in one of those. So I've been on both sides kind of. So I do like to, really use my experience that I have as a student in my work as a teacher. I think that's very important. It helps me to find an approach to everyone pretty much, because I've been a bad student, I've been a good student, I've been everywhere. So it's pretty cool what I know about the other side of things. So yeah.
Yeah. Venya is not an English native speaker. He's a Russian guy who mastered his accent to what you hear right now. And I think it's pretty impressive. It's a great inspiration for everyone in the world who's trying to learn English and trying to sound like an American. And, you're a great example.
I mean, yeah, it's just, if I can, you can too. It's possible. That's all I'm trying to show to people.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, I think we can start with the tenses. So we have everybody here now. People are going to join during the live stream, but I'm going to leave this live stream on the channel so they will be able to watch from the very beginning. If you like, just join, and if you have missed something.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. So tenses. It seems to be one of the hardest things for learners. People can't really quite get a good grasp of those usually. And the reason for that is because, I'm not trying to tell your teachers are bad or anything, because they're not, obviously. It's just some people pick the wrong approach to those. And basically, you have to think of it from a native speaker's perspective, right? How do native speakers learn tenses, right? Do they memorize the formulas? I don't think so, right? Just think of your native languages right now that you're speaking from birth. How did you learn, right? You didn't really memorize or learn anything. You definitely weren't sitting down with books, reading and trying to figure out, how to use this or that, or trying to memorize vocabulary. You weren't doing that. So how were you doing that? You were exposed to people talking all the time. So you were kind of trying to, pick it up like that. And you were just understanding more than memorizing, if you were memorizing at all, but I don't think you were. So yeah, the key to understanding, not understanding, but the key to mastering the tenses is being able to understand them, not just trying to memorize them and really, really sit down with books and reading and trying to recreate the formulas. It's not going to work like that. So me, when I was learning, I had so much problems with tenses only because I was trying to memorize them. Everybody knows, you have to work hard in order to achieve something, right? So I was like, okay, let me work hard. I'm going to work extra hard and memorize. And believe it or not, I knew all the formulas, all the rules. I knew it all. But then when it came to actually talking and using them, everything would just get lost completely. And I was like, wait, I know present perfect continuous, but then when I try to talk, it just never comes to my mind.
Yeah, how do I use it?
Never know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know when to use it, right? I know what it is, but I just don't know when to use it. But if you ask a native speaker, they have no idea what present perfect continuous is, but they know it and they use it, but they just know what it's called. So the first thing is, you don't really need to know what it's called. Like if somebody's really stressing you about this is future perfect continuous, screw that. It's not super important. It's good to know what it is, just to, keep it organized kind of, and, not get confused, but make sure you know where you're putting your focus. That's the first one. Make sure you putting your focus on the right things, and the right things are how to use them and not, what it's called or whatever. So, yeah, I made a shocking discovery.
Can I? Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I made a shocking discovery about tenses in the English language. And I realized that I was doing it wrong. Memorizing formulas won't get you anywhere. And that's why I personally always felt stuck with them. You actually have to make sure you understand each one, not memorize, understand. So why do we use certain tenses? Do we even need them all? Can I substitute one with another? Those are the questions you have to know the answers to. And that's how you know them, if you can answer all of those. So yeah, Marina, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question about keeping this balance between vocabulary and tenses, because for example, I have this problem in my Italian right now. I started with a lot of vocabulary, so I know loads of words, but I haven't really concentrated on grammar because it's much more complicated than one in English. And so my teacher says she actually understands what I want to say, but my grammatical structures, they're just absent. So what would you say about that?
All right, I'm reading comments here. Being tense, sorry. Problems with the video. Does anyone have problems with the video, or only one person?
No, sometimes people do because they have bad internet connection. If you have problems with the video, just reload the page. Because normally if there's a big problem, then everybody starts oh my god, I don't have the sound, I don't have the video. But right now, yeah, everything should be fine.
Yeah, I see some people say they can understand, but when it comes to talking, everything just disappears. All right, yeah, so this is exactly what you need. I am actually here to help you. So let's just start with tenses, because we have, about 45 minutes to finish them all. That's more than enough, So before we start, you have to know, or you have to have a timeline in your head, right? A timeline, and you have to know what past, present, and future is. You have present, which is right now, the moment of speaking, right? Moment of speech, we say. And then we have past, what happened before, and future, what is going to happen down the line in a couple of days, tomorrow, in 2 hours. So yeah, and our reference point, our main reference point is present simple. The simplest one, the most basic one, the one that everybody knows. So present simple, which is I drink coffee every day. Present simple. We have our subject, neutral verb, right? Or if we're talking in third person, you would add an S to it. He drinks coffee, right? So, but yeah, this is the most basic, just point of reference for you guys. I drink coffee every day. Water freezes at 0 degrees. School sucks, right? So these are all the present simple sentences, right? So present simple is good for talking about habits, rituals, routine, and other stuff that you do repeatedly. Like I drink coffee every day, right? Probably not good for you, but it's a good example of this particular usage. So yeah, this is something you do all the time repeatedly. It's like your ritual in a way. Also, present simple is applicable to things that we consider to be facts or like general truths or any kind of truths, right? What did I say earlier? School sucks, right? School sucks. It's a fact, right? It doesn't have to be true to everyone, but if it's true to you, go ahead. It's here, present simple. Any kind of fact, any kind of truth, even if it's not truth, but you think it is, right? And we also use, this is kind of like advanced stuff, but we also use this one for future arrangements that are set by a schedule. So for example, work starts at 8 a.m. tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, which is in the future, but then we say work starts. Basically, it's been already scheduled. There's nothing you can do about it. You have no control over it. Work just starts at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So this is one of the examples of the future event that we can actually talk about in present simple. So this is the simplest one, the easiest one. Let me look at the comments. School doesn't suck. School doesn't suck, not sucks, because you're saying doesn't instead of don't, right? So school doesn't suck. But yeah, that's good. That's good. I agree. I'm a teacher. All right. Simple present. Subject plus verb plus object. Okay. Good, guys. Good.
Yeah, I think when you start learning a language, this is the first and the only, well, that works for me. I started the present simple tense, and then I worked on my vocabulary, because normally when you say, even when you use the wrong tense, but you say like tomorrow or yesterday, people will get what you're saying, because the goal in learning a language is to start speaking as fast as you, like if you started like 2 months ago, try to start speaking today. So yeah, because I'm like reflecting on myself all the time. I just came from Italy, and my Italian language is A1 plus level, so almost A2. So it's almost absent, but there is something there. There is some vocabulary and a couple of tenses. So I was talking using present simple all the time, and people got me. Like if I said I am in I don't know, Saxo Maggiore yesterday, you realize that I was there yesterday, and even because I used the wrong time. So this is the tense. Like seriously, present simple. Just learn it. Learn the basics, like when you use doesn't, when you use don't with plural and single, and then just working your vocabulary, and then go on to the next tense. Because the problem with our school, with my school in Russia, was that on the first day we're given like a big table, all of the tenses. They're like, you're gonna learn them this year, and I looked at the tenses and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so overwhelmed with the amount of material I see in front of me, and how am I gonna learn it? Am I gonna use it? So start with a small like section of the tense, go and proceed.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so present simple is definitely your reference point. It is the main one. I have a beginner class right now that I teach here in LA, and this is like not the first thing, but one of the first things we actually start when it comes to grammar. That's for sure. This is your reference point. This is what you use to talk about pretty much anything. But then you want to get fancy, you want to impress people, you want to use the right one for the right things, and then you go further and learn something like past simple. That's the next one that we have. So it is also simple, but it's in the past on your timeline. So past simple is usually used for a completed action in a time before now. Pretty super easy, right? You have your subject and then your verb in the past. So either your second form of the verb or you add your ed ending to the verb, right? So past participle. Anyway, this one is easy. This is like your go-to tense when you're referring to a completed simple action that happened before the moment of speaking. Pretty easy. Peter saw a big dog, right? He did it once, it happened, and that's it. However, maybe it never happened. Peter didn't see a big dog. That's past simple as well. Or maybe you're asking, did Peter see a big dog? Right? It doesn't matter. All of that is past simple. And all of those talk about one single action in the simplest way possible. So if you're thinking about past, this is your reference point for past. So literally, you have your timeline, you have your moment of speech, and then this is in the past, right? So Peter saw a big dog. I lived in Russia in 2011. Did he say anything? So all of those are past simple. Super easy, just the most basic thing ever. You just make sure you put your verb in the past form. That's all it is.
But then you have to learn all the past forms.
Then you have to, yeah, you have to learn your irregular verbs. You have to learn just everything, right? When it comes to that, all the past forms possible. And then when you're ambitious, you can talk about, you always want to talk about future. So future simple, this is the next simple one. Future simple, just listen up for this one, right? Actions in the future that cannot be influenced. Spontaneous decisions or assumptions about future. So basically what happens, you put your subject, will, W-I-L-L, plus your neutral verb. It will rain tomorrow. That's the perfect example of future simple. Future simple is all about future events that you're not really confident about. So for example, as I said, it will rain tomorrow. The weather app on your iPhone or phone said so, and it's probably right, but still, there is no way you can be 100% sure that it's going to rain, right? And even if it will rain, there's nothing you can do to stop it. So actions in the future that cannot be influenced, right? That's one. If you're a spontaneous and fun person like me and Marina, future simple is your favorite tense, right? I'll pay for your dinner. Very generous of you, but this is a spontaneous decision that you just came up with. You were like, oh my God, I'll pay for your dinner. Future simple, spontaneous. And if you don't believe in psychics and fortune tellers, all you can do is make assumptions about the future. So I think he'll come back tomorrow, right? He might actually come back, but there's no guarantee. You don't know. You think he will, but you're not 100% confident. So this is your assumption about the future event. I think he will come back tomorrow. So future simple, again, actions in the future that cannot be influenced, spontaneous decisions, and assumptions about the future. So it'll rain tomorrow. I'll pay for your dinner. I think he'll come back tomorrow. All of those. So, and this is super simple as well. Your timeline, your moment of speech, right in the middle, and this is in the future, right? One single thing in the future. All right, let me go to some comments. When you speak, sometimes it's cutting off. I am really sorry.
I think it's sometimes maybe you turn away from the mic, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just the connection.
Let me bring it closer. When do you have all the time to learn all that? Honestly, this is so easy. You don't need to sit and memorize. You just have to know what it is, and then you just have to try and use it. Basically, so the main idea is you have to put your own original thoughts and ideas on some things that you learn. This is the fastest way to learn, when you actually produce language that is relevant to you, right? And what I mean by that, you can do any exercise, right, that your teachers give you or anything you can find, fill the blanks, whatever, it's good too, right? But you won't really learn because you're just like, you know, working with given circumstances and you're just like kind of filling the blanks and you're not really doing anything creative. But your wheels start spinning really fast when you are trying to produce the language, when you're trying to come up with original thoughts and ideas using the given language. And when you really apply these rules to your personal life, that's how you memorize. Because then when you try to talk to somebody, right, on the street randomly, then you're going to be like, I'm talking about this right now. Oh, I remember I was making up a sentence about a similar thing. What did I use? Oh, yeah, present perfect continuous. I have been learning English, blah, blah, blah. So this is the fastest way to learn something, to retain something in your head, is to actually put your own original thoughts and ideas on it. So yeah, got a little sidetracked, but yeah. The next category of tenses are continuous tenses, or they're called progressive tenses. I don't know, do call them whatever you like. I call them progressive more often because it's just the nature of the books I work with teaching right now. When I was learning back in Mother Russia, we call them continuous. And I know a lot of different schools and books call them continuous, but it could be both. So don't get confused. Continuous and progressive, it's the same thing. The same thing, just different names for the same thing. So basically, present continuous. It's probably the easiest one out of the continuous. Something that is happening right now, happening constantly, or is a planned activity. What I mean by that, I am talking about tenses. It is happening right now. You are listening to me talking about tenses. It is happening right now. Or something that's happening constantly. Let's say he's studying English this semester, right? So it's not really constantly, but it just goes to show that it doesn't have to be happening right now at this moment, but it could be true to the moment you're in, right? He's studying English this semester, but maybe he's home right now, sitting on the couch watching Netflix, but still he's studying English this semester, right? So anyway, let's just start one thing at a time. So the formula for this one is your be plus verb with your ing ending. So be, whatever form it is, am, is, or are, and then verb with ing. So this is the most real it can be, honestly. If you want to talk about something that is happening right now, this is what you use. Right? I am teaching you guys right now, literally just sitting there and teaching, and you are listening, right? So this is the truth to this moment. This is what's happening right now. Or what I kind of touched on previously, it doesn't have to be happening at this exact moment, but it can be true to the time you're in. So the example that I made, he is studying English this semester, but maybe he's not even in school right now. He's at home watching Netflix, right? But it still works. He's studying English this semester. Or sometimes we make plans we are sure about. When you have an amazing amount of confidence in your future plan, you can use present continuous. For example, we are going out tonight, right? That's the plan. You know, this is your future. You're getting dressed already, right? We are going out tonight. So present continuous, when you talk about future with present continuous, this is something that's 100% happening. Maybe it won't, but this is not what you think, right? You think it's going to happen 100%. So we use present continuous for this one. And then if you think about your timeline and your moment of speech, present continuous is going to be like a big blob of whatever on the timeline. So it's a long action, right? Now we got our past continuous, pretty much the same thing. It's an action going on at a certain time in the past. So basically it's a longer action. But the difference between past simple and past continuous is length, basically. Past continuous is longer. So all continuous tenses or progressive tenses always put a lot of focus on the duration of the action. So if a certain action took some time, this is your best bet. I can't believe you are lying to me, right? this person was lying to you for a long period of time, maybe even years, right? And then you're saying, I can't believe you were lying to me. So what's the difference between I can't believe you were lying to me and I can't believe you lied to me? The second one, past simple, I can't believe you lied to me. You're referring to one thing. Something happened once. They lied to you once. And then you say, I can't believe you lied to me, referring to that specific one thing. But I can't believe you were lying to me. You automatically think a long period of time, something that was happening for a while. So that's one way to use past continuous. Then sometimes tenses work together. And this is the most common example. So past continuous is used for actions in the past that are interrupted by another action. Think about this. Past continuous as a longer action sometimes gets interrupted by past simple, one short action. Think about it. Long one, continuous, and gets interrupted by simple. Peter was fishing when he saw an elephant. Peter was fishing. That's a long action. He was fishing for hours, days, weeks. He saw an elephant. That's just the one thing. He just saw it once. Short action. It just happened, right? So this is the perfect example of past simple interrupting past continuous. And I have no idea why he saw an elephant and where he was fishing, but it doesn't change the fact. Longer actions versus a small, short one. Here you should be able to see the difference. And also using signal words like while, we can use past continuous to talk about actions happening in this at the same time, right? I was writing this while Nick was sleeping, let's say, right? So two separate actions, as long as they are long, it doesn't matter. They are two separate actions. They don't really work together. They're just two separate things. So real easy, real easy. So again, Peter was fishing, right? I can't believe you were lying to me. So the formula is subject, then was, were, and then verb with ing. Easy, easy. And then the last, continuous or progressive tense, is future. This one is a little tricky. This one is a little tricky. This is where all the like bullshit, starts. But future continuous or future progressive is for an unfinished action or event that will be in progress at a time later than now. So let me explain. If something you have to do in the future is going to take you some time to complete, this is what you use. Again, remember I said all progressive or continuous tenses are putting a lot of emphasis on the length of the action. So if you know that something you're about to do in the future is going to take some time, this is what you use. This is all about the length of a certain action. So let's imagine that you're planning on doing homework tomorrow from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. In that case, you tell your friends that you will be doing homework tomorrow night. It's a process, and you really, really want to emphasize that it's going to take you a long time, right? 2 hours, 7 minutes, 2 hours, right? You will be doing homework tomorrow night. This is it. This is literally it. And then let's say, I will be texting you every day. All right. Really, you really let this person know that you care, and you're not just going to send one little text. You will be texting on a regular basis. So again, it's all about the emphasis and the focus that you want to put on things. That's all it is, honestly. A lot of people get confused with this one, but the way to make this one is will be and verb with ing. So I will be texting you every day. I will be doing my homework tomorrow night. So long, think long. Every time you see continuous or progressive, think long, and you will not make a mistake. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. All right, how are you guys doing? Are you guys falling asleep already?
No, I think they're listening in.
Right.
I'm reading another question. I'm watching a great video. An example of present continuous.
Cool.
On the phone, right?
Explains grammar. It's very easy to understand. Yeah, actually, my students love my classes, honestly. I don't believe in being I don't believe in explaining stuff the complicated way, because like why do people do that? I don't understand. But yeah, I just try to make it as simple as possible, because when I was learning English, I didn't have a lot of time and I wanted to like really speed it up. So I had to like find my own ways to figure stuff out and find my own ways to kind of learn, because the the educational system, traditional educational system, was not really helpful. It was good, but it was taking a long time, and I didn't have that kind of time. So I really had to like figure out how to make it easier for myself. And now I've made it my mission in life to help people learn the easy way, right? The fast way. So yeah.
The way Venya does it, how you can learn fast. He actually wrote a couple of books, and one of the books is about tenses, and you can find the link below. And this is actually the most like compact and the most informative book I've ever seen on English tenses, because back at school we had a book on English tenses, was that thick. Yeah, green color. You probably recognize it, Venya, what I'm talking about. But yeah, I didn't have like any desire to read it at all. So it was like, I don't know, they just made us do that. This book, I've read it myself. I mean, Venya's cool design, really cool information, like in bullet points, all you need to know about tenses, like seriously. And if you guys are looking for a book that information from hundreds and hundreds of, I don't know, months that you've learned English and dozens of books, then this is something you're looking for. The link will be below to purchase Venya's book. I personally adore it. So
thank you.
My recommendation.
Yeah, if you want to, after this live stream, if you want to look at the stuff that I'm talking about again, you can definitely purchase the book on tenses that I wrote. And it's I try to make it as simple as possible, and it's short and sweet, and the short book, 16 pages, you really learn everything about tenses, and then you're ready to use it. But anyway, now it's starting to get a little more complicated, because now we're jumping onto perfect tenses. So as I said about continuous and progressive tenses, right? Those are focusing on the length. So every perfect tense is focusing on the result. Think about that. Focus on the result. Keep that in mind throughout this entire, section. So yeah, let's start with present perfect. Present perfect. This one is very, very result oriented. Doesn't matter if the action was finished or not, you are focused on the result of a particular activity, even if it never happened, right? So I have erased all our photos from my phone. It's done. I have erased all our photos from my phone. You did it, and there's no way back. It was a big deal, and now you're declaring that it's over. Focus on the result. So you should be able to hear the difference between I erased all our photos from my phone and I have erased all our photos from my phone. It's done. This is it. You are putting focus purposefully on the result of this action. Or maybe action never happened, right? I've never fallen down the stairs. This action never happened and could still happen any day, literally, right? So many stairs we have to walk up and down every day, right? You can fall any day, anytime. But if you're saying I've never fallen down the stairs, this is the result you have decided to share at this moment. So you basically sum it up, I guess, your life experience with falling down the stairs. Again, focusing on the result. Think about results and only the results. And it's all about what you want to emphasize in the sentence. All perfect tenses are focusing on the result. Which leads me to past perfect, right? Finished or completed action in the past. So, I forgot to mention present perfect. This is how you build it. Have or has, and then your verb in either the third form or you add ed to it, right? Depending on if it's irregular or not. So, and past perfect, it's similar, but instead of have or has, you just say had because it is past, right? Had, and then your verb in the third form or ed. So you have, what's the difference between past perfect and present perfect all the time, right? All the time. This is like the big question between with all the students basically. So you have two actions in the past, right? Think about this. Two actions in the past, and one happened before the other, right? Two actions in the past, one happened before the other. This is exactly what you need. For the past action that was completed before the other one, you're going to use past perfect. So if let's go back to Peter and fishing. If Peter was fishing and actually caught something before he saw an elephant, you would say Peter had already caught a fish when he saw an elephant. So emphasis is on the result. And this action was completed before he saw an elephant. He had caught a fish when he saw an elephant, right? So think about this. Past perfect, this is like the further past action on the map, period. So if something happened before something else in the past, all of that is in the past, this is what you use, past perfect. So same thing with, I had already gone down the stairs when the elevator arrived. You know, sometimes you just like hit the elevator button and then you just wait there and then you're like, screw it, I'm just gonna go down the stairs or up the stairs. And then once you start going up the stairs, you hear the elevator door open, right? I had already gone down the stairs when the elevator arrived. So again, everything is in the past, but then the further past action is past perfect because it was done before this other thing happened. So this is what you want to think about. This is the main way to use past perfect. We don't really use it for anything else. This is it. If you have two actions in the past, one happened before, that's past perfect. That's it. We don't really use it for anything else, honestly. So yeah, Peter had already caught a fish when he saw an elephant, or I had already gone down the stairs when the elevator arrived. And now, future perfect. And this is the one we have well, not the most. This is like number 2 on the chart of stupidness, but the first one is future perfect progressive, obviously, but this is like number 2. It's the runner up. So future perfect. Future perfect is, listen up. Future result you don't have yet, right? Future result you don't have yet. Remember, perfect is always about results, but then you're talking about some future result that you don't have, right? Finished action in the future, or it could be finished action in the future before something else happens in the future, right? But let's take it one step at a time. So future perfect, this is how you make it. Will have verb in the third form or ed. Or you can say going to have verb in the third form or ed. So if you're one of those people who like to brag about the results they don't have yet, this tense is for you 24/7. If you have a specific task in the future that needs to be finished by a certain point in the future, this is exactly what you need. I will have done my homework by the time I have to go to school tomorrow. You getting this? So 2 actions in the future. Homework and school. But homework needs to be done before school. But all of this is in the future. It's tomorrow. So what you're trying to say is, your homework is not done yet, but you promise that it will be done before you have to go to school tomorrow. I will have done, this is tricky, I will have done my homework by the time I have to go to school tomorrow. So this is one way to use it. Or you can say, I'm going to have made some money before we go to Vegas, let's say. I'm going to have made some money before we go to Vegas. Vegas is the type of place you need lots of money for. You don't have enough money yet, but you're sure that you'll make it by the time you have to go. So again, all of this is in the future. And you're just basically prioritizing and saying that one will be completed before the other one happens. So it's kind of like past perfect, but just in the future. Think about that. Results that you don't have yet, right? Cool. Let's take a break and read through the comments. Ha ha ha. That was funny.
That was one of the questions about your channel. I lived a link below. The one, the Venya Pak vlogs, right? It's the one in English.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's a link below, guys. Venya has 3 channels: one in Russian, one in English, and the link will be below. And also there is another one with him singing. If you like to see that, it's just Venya Pak. Yeah. So please subscribe and practice your English. Again, somebody asked if it makes sense to watch movies in English. I would say definitely. And if your level is not enough to understand what's going on, switch on English subtitles so you can see exactly what structures they're using in which situations. And this way you're going to be able to, again, see them in real life, memorize them, and then maybe even 2 months they will come up in your brain when something happens to you in English, and then you'll be able to use it. Definitely watch vlogs in English, watch movies in English, watch TV shows. There is HBO now, there is Netflix, so anywhere that is accessible from your country, take an opportunity. You know, at some point in my life, I think when I was 14, I just stopped reading and watching TV shows in Russian. I just told myself, if I want to progress in English, if I want to be like a native speaker, language is not the only thing you have to learn. Another thing that I wanted to learn is the culture, because when I came to the UK, they were joking about songs I never heard. They were joking about characters they've seen TV shows that I have never heard of. So this way you're killing like 2 goals. First, you memorize the structures, you memorize the words. Second, you learn about the culture. So yes, watch something in English every day.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was doing that too as well, when I had to kind of immerse myself into the language and kind of surround myself with the language and the culture. That's the perfect way to do that if you can't really come out anywhere. But ideally, you would want to come out somewhere. Ideally, you would want to go and travel, because this is, watching stuff is good and it's one thing, but like when you actually go and then you have to use the language to survive, this is a whole different game. And I really, really encourage you guys to really try and maybe plan for a trip, something, maybe, go on an educational trip and go, book a course or something, because this is definitely, you're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? You're going to be in class, and then whatever you learn in class, right? You're going to go out in the real world and you're going to apply that, and this is just the perfect environment to do that. Honestly.
Yeah, and if you travel to LA, you get to meet Venya as well. Because
yeah, and if you go to LA, you can take classes with me, and we can, go hang out and use the language and stuff. If you're 21, we can go to a bar or something. All right, get a little sidetracked, but yeah.
Yeah, there is a link below to book a school where Venya teaches. He teaches during the evening, but you can totally like take other classes as well during the day.
Easily.
Yeah, I think 2-3 weeks in LA when you have your vacation or when you have break from your studies, that would be like, I cannot think of a better thing, really. Just, like moving to the States, yes, but 2-3 weeks, whatever you want.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's continue. We took a little break because it's too important too when you study, and make sure you take breaks as well, because your brain needs some time to digest, just like your stomach.
Interesting. Yeah, because now like maybe you will now have a goal of going to LA in a couple of months, and now you have the exact motivation to study those tenses because you're going to use them.
Absolutely right. So yeah, now the very last group of tenses is perfect progressive or perfect continuous tenses. Those are the most complicated ones for people, and we're going to make them super easy. Easy. All right, so perfect progressive or perfect continuous. This is how you make it. Have, been, and then your verb with ing. So with every perfect continuous tense, you're putting emphasis on the course or duration, right? Course or duration of a certain action. Let me explain. This one you use to focus on the value of the length of an action. If you are really, really proud of doing something for a long period of time, you use present perfect continuous. I have been learning English since 2012, period, right? Something that you started in the past and it's still going, and you're really proud of the time that you spent on it, right? So here we're kind of focusing on the result and length at the same time, hence perfect progressive. But yeah, also, if an action was finished, but you can still see the evidence or its influence on the present, you use present perfect continuous. For example, our kitchen is a mess. Who has been cooking? You're asking the question. They are done cooking, but clearly they didn't clean up after themselves. Therefore, this past action has a clear connection or influence on the present. So our kitchen is a mess. Who has been cooking? Has been cooking, right? And if you refer to a series of actions like she has been texting me all week for an answer, right? Her texts were regular. She would text very often for an entire week. And that's annoying. You're tired. You don't like it. And you don't want to talk to her. So you're saying, she has been texting me all week for an answer. Again, you're focusing on the result of a long action. Think about that. Length and result at the same time. This is present perfect continuous. Now, past perfect continuous. This is a whole different thing. So how you build past perfect continuous? You're saying had been, and then your verb and ing, right? This is the most common question my students ask me all the time. What is the difference between present perfect continuous and past perfect continuous, right? So as I just said, present perfect continuous is used to speak about an action that started in the past and is still on in the present, right? Past perfect continuous shows that something started in the past and continued until another time in the past. Again, everything is in the past. The action is not on in the present, even though the main focus falls on the duration, length of an action. So for example, I had been talking on the phone when I fell, right? You were on the phone talking to your mom, and then you tripped and fell on the ground. You had been talking on the phone. It's a long action in the past, and then you fell in the past as well, but shorter. I had been talking on the phone when I fell. He said that he'd been doing his work, right? He'd been doing his work. He said, remember? So pay attention to that. Pay attention to all the verbs in the sentence. He said, that was in the past. That he'd been doing his work, that was even further in the past, but it was long. See what I'm trying to see what I'm trying to say? It's kind of the same with past perfect, right? Two things in the past together, but this one is just long. Had you been waiting long before she arrived, right? You ask a girl out on a date, and then she's taking a long time to get ready, and you're already there waiting for her, right? And then somebody asks you, had you been waiting long before she arrived? So she arrived, that's one thing in the past, but he had been waiting long, right? This is even further in the past, but longer. This is it, basically, all it is, all it is. And the last one is, this is my personal favorite one, because this is just awesome. This is number one, the top chart of stupid English grammar rules. This is number one. Future perfect progressive. I'm so excited about this right now. Future perfect continuous or future perfect progressive. So how you build it? Will have been, verb plus ing. Will have been, verb plus ing. And again, along with your future perfect, you are talking about some kind of result you do not have yet. It is all in the future, and you're just thinking about the future result of a particular activity. For example, this time next year, I will have been working out for 1 year. Let me repeat this slowly. This time next year, I will have been working out for 1 year. What does that mean? This means you just started working out today. This is your first day at the gym today. And if today is the 3rd of October of 2017, then on October 3rd of 2018, you can say that you officially have been working out for a year, but it's still in the future. Therefore, you say, October 3rd of 2018, I will have been working out for 1 year. So you're focusing on the result of an action, the result that you don't have yet, but it's a long action, right? Remember how we said present perfect continuous? It's a long action that started in the past, and you're really proud of it. So you want to say, I have been learning English for, 6 years, whatever. So this is the same thing here. You just shifted in the future. And it just happens to be the same. This time next year, I will have been working out for 1 year. You following me? I will have been waiting here for 2 hours by noon. It's a little complicated. Let me try this again. I will have been waiting here for 2 hours by noon, 12 o'clock. So you came at 10. When it hits noon, 12 p.m., that means you've been waiting here for 2 hours, right? At noon, it's going to be 2 hours, but it's not noon yet. It's still 11. But you just want to say, you want to emphasize that you think you're going to be waiting for a long time, right? I will have been waiting here for 2 hours by noon. It's not noon yet, but you already want to talk about it. So you use future perfect continuous or future perfect progressive, however you like. So yeah, this is pretty much what it is. If you feel like you still have questions, because having something visual with you is always better. So link in the description once again for the book. Actually, that all of this, what I was just saying, is in. This is in that little, I wouldn't even call it a book. It's like a little handout. I don't know. It's literally 16 pages, but it's everything that I just covered. And you come back. Yeah. Buy it right now. It's not that expensive either. Link down below and read it again. You really, really have to understand. You really, really have to understand. Memorizing is one thing, but you really, really need to wrap your head around it all. So read it multiple times if you have to, but you really have to make sure you know exactly what each one does and why. And it's all in there.
Yeah, and I also wanted to thank you, Venya, for an amazing class. And I like how your speech changes when you start teaching, because you start speaking slower than you normally do. And I think this is what you do when you study English with an English language speaker. Speaking slow so everybody gets what you're saying, right?
Absolutely.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, actually, conditional type, the conditional type is something you described, right? It was the, we dedicated like 15 minutes to conditionals, I guess. When we said about things that happened in the past, and then at some time in the past, something else would have happened about that. So all of the conditionals are in the book as well. We talked about that as well. I will leave this video on my channel so you can watch it again. If you want, you can make some notes. You can purchase Venya's book and make some notes in the book. It's in PDF, but you can definitely print it out. Right now, who's this guy? Yeah, this guy is a blogger, Venya. His channel is in the link below. He's also an English language teacher for those who missed. He teaches English in Los Angeles, and his school is linked. There's a link to his school below as well. Yeah, let me know, guys, if this was useful. Please like this video if you enjoyed the class. This is really important for us to hear your feedback. Yeah, people say you're a great English teacher. I know. But I think the more inspired you are, the better everything is. The faster the grammar goes, the faster your vocabulary grows.
Definitely.
I became like so motivated to speak Italian. So I was picking up new words every day. I was trying to practice my Italian every day. Yeah. Thanks a lot for this lesson. It was really helpful. And the book about English has written in very clear. Oh, Daria has already purchased the book. Yeah, I've seen the.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this is the first review of the book already. The book about English is written in a very clear and understandable way. I've downloaded it. Thanks. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, Venya. I think it's a really, really intense and really great class.
Yeah, somebody's saying learn Russian. I guess they do have to learn Russian.
Yeah, if you wanna watch this in Russian, it's gonna be on Thursday, but I don't think you're gonna get a lot of things.
Yeah, if some of you are Russian, right, or speak Russian, or Russian is your first language, or something, you know, Russian is easier for you than English for some reason, come on Thursday, and we're gonna do the same thing again, but in Russian, so you really, really, all of you guys understand.
Yeah, sorry we won't be making it in other languages because we only speak Russian and English, but if he learns another language, we'll do it.
Maybe.
Okay, cool. Learn German. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, guys. We'll be finishing now, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next Tuesday on our.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.